What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we picked up some parts from the land down under from Home Development. We got the rear center roll adjusters. They come really nicely packaged. Try to pop this open for you. So it comes with all the hardware and tells you that the instructions are available on their website. And then here they are, right here. So went over the instructions before starting to record this video, and it suggests that you take the rear trailing arm off. Just so happens I have the rear trailing arm right here. So we're going to go ahead and install this on the car. Let's get started. Alright, so the first step into installing your geometry correction kit is you want to get the caliper and the rotor off. So I'm just going to pull the whole bracket off. If this is on the car, you're going to have to take the e-brake cable off too. So it's just two 14mm bolts for the bracket. The whole thing comes off like that. Flip this over. You're gonna have two Phillips head set screws that hold the rotor on. Sometimes it's a little difficult with the extended studs. Rotor off. Next step is to get your grinder with a cutoff wheel. You also need a grinding disc and a flapper wheel. So right here you'll have the welded on nut. Basically we're just going to cut this off and shave it down so it's smooth all the way across. So also when you get started on this, don't forget your safety glasses. The sparks are going to fly. And once you get the bolt cut down so far, you'll start running into the overspray, the seam sealer. I'm just using a regular pick to try to pull some of that off. So now I'm going to swap out blades to the grinding blade. Cut the nut down in 2 steps. That way I don't cut into the actual trailing arm itself. And then when you get it pretty close to flat, you just want to switch over to the sanding wheel, flapper disc, whatever you want to call it. So once you get it all ground down, this is what you're looking for. You just want it to be pretty smooth and flat. So then you're going to take your geometry correction plate. The ear that sticks up higher goes towards the back of the trailing arm. So you basically just want to slide this on. And you can see right here it's hitting a little bit of that seam sealer still, so I'm going to have to pick that out a little bit. But on the inside, if you look right here where this round washer is, you see it's hitting the trailing arm here. And also the same thing on this side. And if you look through here, the hole is almost lining up but not perfect. So what we're going to have to do is trim a little bit off of this edge and a little bit off of this edge. Once you trim a little bit off, just try to fit your correction kit back on. So mine lines up now. I still just have to do a little bit away with some of that seam sealer, but where the control arm bolt went through, that's where these holes with the little cone nuts or cone washers have to sit. So I'm going to take my flat wheel and just smooth out my cuts, make sure there's no jagged pieces of metal like this on there, and then I'll go through and pick that seam sealer a little bit more. So here's a close-up of how I cut the trailing arm. It's better to cut a little bit at a time than too much. You're not cutting anything crazy off, just a few millimeters. So the next step is to grab the 2 Allen headed key bolts and the nuts. Slide your correction plate on. Put the bolt on from the inside. If these go on easy, you know you shaved everything down correctly. So we're just going to leave those on loosely for now. So in the directions, this was the part that was the most unclear to me about how to line this up, because you can go this way, and you can see, depending on which way you twist it, it's going to change the angle at which the arms mount. So basically, there's a flat line on here, if you can see it real close. You want this line to run parallel with this mounting part for the caliper bracket. So once you have that lined up pretty much like that, you're going to tighten these 2 bolts up, and then we're going to drill this hole out. I believe it's a 10 millimeter drill bit that you're going to need. So we're going to go ahead and tighten it up. So verify that you're lined up still. That looks good. So I like to start with a smaller bit, so I'm going to use a step bit because it's probably the sharpest one that I have. And I'm just going to start drilling this hole out a little bit at a time. Just verify everything fits and everything's lined up the way it's supposed to be. Alright, so hopefully you can see that line, but as you can see, everything's still parallel. So before I attach this finally, I'm going to take it all back apart and I'm going to paint all this because I don't want any bare metal for rust to happen. So I'm going to pull all this apart, I'm going to spray paint it, and then once that paint dries, then we'll put this all back together. So I just took a bag and I covered the wheel bearing so we don't get paint on it. I'm just taking a rag and wiping off some of the loose metal. Alright, so the last clip I showed you, I painted this, it all dried. I'll put the brackets on, the bolts here and here. They all get tightened a 52 foot-pounds. And then these bolts down here just for the control arm to go through. So I'm super excited to put these on because I'll have an upgraded brake rotor. It'll be 10.2. It's an EP3 brake. The ASR revolvers, blocks rear camber kit, and then I'm not sure which brand, but these are spherical toes. So it should be a pretty good upgrade. If you have any questions about the installation process of this, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll always respond. But I'm pretty excited to get this on the car. I'm not sure how the bushings look in the back on the trailing arms. So hopefully this will be an upgrade. Plan on putting this in the car next time I get to work on it. So if you want to see how to remove trailing arms and install new ones, look out for the next video. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.